you are gonna see some cool ass shit.
Yeah, you don't want two flavor flavors.
Heart transplants, brain surgeries. I've seen it all.
Dude, that's fucking dope.
Walk up and just get it, whatever it is.
Yeah, brother.
I'm trying not to laugh, bro, but Josh is fucking killing me.
Guess what Navy SEALs do, motherfucker? They communicate and they're on the same fucking page.
Whoa.
I believe
we're live.
Welcome everybody to the Happy Hoodlums podcast. We got another episode this week. Sometimes you fuck up the intro, but the hosts are still good. And it's Kemper Woodruff, Zach Sampson, you should already know. And this week's very special guest, my little brother, not to be considered little anymore because he's taller than me, Mr. Qeuw, a.k.a. Timmy Stanford.
Thank you.
Also has
Thank you.
voice.
That's right. That's what I'm known for. That's how I get all the clicks. You get a deep voice and you just talking like, wow, buddy. I'm not sure if we talked about this last time, but my voice actually used to be deeper, but then I changed it. Kemper might know.
I think we did talk about that on the last episode you were on.
Well,
probably. We won't go over it twice then.
I think it's more that you got the most chocolatey voice of any very pale person I've ever met in my life.
I remember being 14 and playing Call of Duty. If you guys don't know, when you play Search and Destroy, you have to talk to people and just constantly. Am I allowed to swear on this podcast?
Yes.
Hell yeah.
Number one thing I heard, word for word, was, "Hey, Darth Vader, get the dick out of your throat," constantly, and I'm just like, all right. Like, I've 50 people added on Facebook because they wouldn't believe me. I was like 14 or 15. They're like, you have to be a 40-year-old man. I'm like, go check out my Facebook. So I just have all these random people I don't even know added
That's
on
hilarious.
Facebook.
Well, hopefully they're screaming now and the joke's on them. You know, and if anyone was like, oh my God, like, A, they probably can't handle this podcast. And B, they've never played video games because video games are some of the worst people fucking
toxic
ever.
As fuck.
Like those rooms, man, those chats get dark.
YouTube comments with the voice.
Yeah, but it's so weird because it's almost like Louis C.K. has this whole like stand-up bit on how people say whatever in cars. Like they feel safe to say things in cars, so they just say horrible fucking things. And he was like, you might be driving next to a grandma and she'll be like, you piece of shit, fuck you. Like, get the shit out of you. And then like all of a sudden you get out of the car and it's like a whole other thing. Well, video games are kind of that way too, in my opinion. Like when you're in a video game chat, people will say whatever.
Dude, it's crazy.
They enjoy. It's like half of the fun for the people that do like talk shit and stuff like that. That's like half of the reason they hop on is just to be like, I don't like you. And you're like, oh, I don't like you either.
Yeah, well, they're both stuck in basements, and so I mean that's.
I usually only ever get involved in shit talk if someone starts shit talking a friend of mine, and they like my friend can't keep up with them. And so then I just jump on the person, and they never get a word in after that, and I just shit on them the entire game. I'm like, dude.
Zach was like Captain Save-A-Bro over here. I love it. But anyways, what have you been up to?
I've been just living life, moved to Arizona. That is, but yeah, I live in Arizona, live with my girlfriend, staying inside almost all day, every day. Exciting stuff.
Well,
working.
I could see that you're staying inside.
That's
no sign of a tan.
Thank you. Same Arizona sun. Can't, people are like, it's so hot over there. I'm like, I'm inside with the air conditioner at all times. I think almost everyone who lives here is, so wouldn't know.
Yeah. Dude, also on a random, well, I don't know. You can answer this. I hope your girlfriend isn't watching. Okay. I heard there's a ton of hot chicks in Arizona, like ridiculous. Is that not the case?
Like I said, I don't leave the house very often, but I have not been that impressed. I think I see mostly old ladies. If that's your thing, maybe there are, but I feel like when I think of people I see outside, it's just old people. There's like a Wendy's nearby, and it's like the worst Wendy's I've ever been to. it looks like a 5-star restaurant with how many old people are sitting inside Wendy's. Everyone's looking at me like, what is this young buck walking through our Wendy's for? The people working there, I was like, thanks, sugar, and just give me my food. And then like all the old people are like, I didn't like my finished sandwich. I'm just like, oh, that looks miserable to be a Wendy's worker at that exact one.
Damn.
Fuck. All right. So I guess I thought it was for a college town, but apparently it's an early retirement.
The new Florida.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
No shit. But honestly, dude, I want to ask you about something that I'm not sure we touched on in the last podcast, and that's consistency. And like, how have you remained so consistent to the point where you've built a career out of playing video games, like, and streaming? Because how many followers do you have now?
I think on Twitch I got like not 15,000, like 14,000 something. Other website like my YouTube's got 3,000, which isn't crazy, but for some reason I get more views on YouTube than anything else. But you know, it's as easy as this. If you want to pursue something, you do it, right? And there's levels to that, because when it comes to like content creation, you hear this by everybody. You can't just simply do it and hope it works out. You have to do it, then promote it. And I hate the word like connections or whatever it's called, making connections. I just like you make friends. Yeah, networking. Thank you. I was trying to look for that. I hate the word networking because like it feels like there's like a back motive behind it. But you know, making friends that do the same thing as we are is wonderful. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, because you and me, Kemper, we grew up best friends, and now we both have similar interests, so it works out. But so that's just why I hate the word networking, because it sounds like I'm trying to use people. But yeah, you know, that's like the other half of it, you know. So
yeah. Well,
but I don't know,
honestly,
passionate about it, do it. It's simple as that. You press the go live button. That's the best tip you can give anybody, right?
I think that's actually like phenomenally said. Um, and it kind of plays into the next thing is like being authentic. I feel like since I've like started doing my like Instagram little posts every morning, I realized I'm giving people the message that I was given each day and like what I was needed. And I'm learning how to not learning how to give less fucks, but how to truly be who I am and like not hold back the intensity. Like I feel like the message is really strong, but my delivery has been far more monotone than like who I actually am, because I mean, you've known me for so long that it's like you've seen all the buck wild phases of me.
Angry
And
child.
yeah, I was talking to Curtis the other day, and he was like, "Dude, you're a super funny guy because you clearly always wanted to be like a life coach and stuff, but you would go around beating people up when you were younger and shit." And he was like, "You're such a like conflicting message that you would try to send." But yeah, so I think authenticity is the one thing that I'm learning. Is like how to unveil myself and not feel weird on camera about it, you know?
I get that. It's the whole thing, like authenticity is very nice, and it's something I look for when I'm like looking for content creation stuff, right? Where I'm trying to feel someone who's being real. I don't want to feel someone being fake. But all I'm gonna say is people always act like there's one route, and there's so many people that just put on a persona and they're the funniest people you've ever seen. You know what I mean? It's like they're not being authentic, but it's working. But I feel for like life coaching and stuff like that, you definitely want to be authentic. It'd be really creepy if you weren't.
Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of psychopath shit if that's what you get off on.
That's what I was thinking. Like, I'll pretend I'm a nice, positive person. I remember when I was working in the mines, and you're like, what the hell is this guy talking about? Never mind, I'm going on a rant.
Just inflate everything that you could possibly think of.
Every new client, you put on a new persona just to like spice up your life.
You fucking mix up the personas, and they're like, wait a second, hold on. 20 years ago, you said you were doing this last time. The fuck?
Dude, on a side note, I just want to say, especially since, you know, our viewers might not recognize that you're actually streaming this episode. So, you know, if you followed Qeuw, you get an extra little something because you get a sneak peek into the Happy Hoodlum schedule of podcasting. But, you know, you have such a fan base that I just want them to know they need to prompt you into making products, because I've been telling Timmy to do this shit for so fucking long because he has such a great mind, and all the stuff that he comes out with, like, I would 100% wear a shirt with your logo on it.
I do have a nice logo, but what was I gonna say? Every time I talk to Kemper on the phone, message, he it's like, you know, when your parents are nagging you to like, you should really go to college. That's Kemper every time we talk. And he's right. And every time I think about it, and I'm like, I'm gonna get this done. And then I look at all the finances. I'm like, let me, I'll do this. And then it's been 2 years. So
yeah.
Well, bro, there's ways to set it up where it's like made to order type shit. So you don't even need to have like product. It's just, you just take the orders through like an online store and it gets made and shipped to them automatically. So you could do it easy.
Yes.
Because I mean, and I'm gonna tell them something right now. If all you motherfuckers buy one shirt, do you know how much better this dude's life will be? If you buy one shirt from this man and it doesn't even have to be every time he drops something, but if you just on his first release of his own pink tee or blue tee with his logo on it, you know,
this is a work shirt. I don't know.
I'm just saying, bro, if you only made like $8 off of that, right? Well, 8 times what, 14 or 15 grand? You're in a whole other area of your life, dude.
Facts.
You bring up some good points.
So I'm like, you've already got the fan base, and you're already like, everyone knows how fucking awesome you are and that you have pure intentions and that you're not about to stop being entertaining as fuck for them. Side note, are you still working on Five Nights at Freddy's?
I do. This is a Steel Wool Studios shirt, which is the company I work for, which is Five Nights at Freddy's. Yeah. So yes, I do still work for Five Nights at Mr. Freddy Fazbear.
So I mean, there's no way that you could be more immersed in the gamer community than fucking that. You know, unless you're just, I don't know, at Comic-Con every time and you have your own booth, but it takes a long time to get that level of commitment.
I don't know. I think Comic-Con booths are the most expensive. They're like $2,000 or more, but most conventions are pretty cheap if you're trying to like actually sell merch and stuff there. But I digress.
Yeah. I mean, all I know is like, on a real level, you're one person that I feel like your superpower is being nonchalant. Like, I've never really seen Timmy get like nervous unless he's playing like Resident Evil and he's like doing a playthrough trying not to die or something, like on a really hard difficulty. But other than that, like other than jump scares, I don't know that I've ever seen you nervous, bro.
I have this mental tip because I'm not sure if viewers know or Zach knows really. I play fighting games professionally to an extent. I don't really travel that much as I used to try to compete, but I still like to compete and stuff. And I have these 3 mental tips that help me out so much. Number 1, if you ever feel nervous, that's not nervousness, that's excitement, you know? So instead of being like, oh, I hope I don't, I'm just like, oh, let's fucking get this. You know what I mean? So that's just a mental thing that I can do. I don't think everyone, you know, it's not like mental tricks work differently for everybody. And like just because I'm on the topic, it's good. And then number 2, always have a water bottle because let's say you're playing like complete shit. We've all been there. You're playing a game. You're like, why am I doing so fucking bad?
Oh shit.
Well, smile very. Let's just get that back going. I swear to God.
So
Never mind, guys. Don't listen to me. These tips aren't going. These tips aren't going. I swear to God, this is like that meme. Okay, there we go.
like, pinkies up.
You take a drink of water, right? And pretty much like if you're playing like shit, just have it as like a calming reset, right? So it's like you're in your own head, you're being terrible, just mental refresh. And then number 3, I'm a very cocky person. So whenever I'm at a competition, I try to put up this like state of mind where I'm way more cocky than I ever will be. My girlfriend's seen it. I do it. It's the only time where people are like, this guy's a fucking dick. And I'm like, I totally understand. I'll literally, if someone sees me in bracket and they're like, oh, I'm playing you next, I'll just be like, and I'm going to win. You know, like I'll just be like, it's just, I'm a complete asshole. I'm just like, yep. No, sorry. I know I'm going to win, you know, like it doesn't matter I don't know how you're feeling right now, but I know I'm going to win. You know what I mean? Like I'll go to my way to be like a complete fucking tool to them. Just be like, nope, sorry, buddy, you're gonna lose. And I'm just saying, it's like it's not me wanting to be a dick, but it's like a state of mind, which is a winning mindset for me.
Dude, it's champion shit. You're like Mike Tyson.
I guess, but it's not that intense. But yeah, I don't know. It's just 3 mental things that I do when I have to compete. But about the nonchalant thing, it's like. It's more just like, sorry, my phone's buzzing. Professional again.
But you know, I'm curious about the mental reset thing because I never knew that's why you do that. And when you're like taking that sip of water, do you actually have anything going through your mind, like narration wise, or are you just in that moment, just like taking a sip and then truly like trying to go as blank as possible to start again?
I describe it as this. I have that side where I'm feeling cocky, and then I have that side where I'm playing like really like calm and reactionary. And that sip is to try to put me in the mindset of that calm and reactionary phase instead of this like I'm gonna rush them down, I'm gonna destroy them, you know, mindset. But what's going through my head as I'm taking the sip is just, okay, you got this. It's like meditation almost, where it's like you want to go back to a state of kind of nothingness, you know what I mean? But not quite. You're meditating, just okay. You're your new self almost. Let's continue doing this, you know.
What I would kind of like,
Okay.
what that sounds like to me is like, for like people with anxiety, they suggest doing things like grounding techniques, which is like putting an ice cube on your forehead or on your neck, right, to bring you back into your body rather than all in your head. And so, kind of in like a same like extreme kind of situation mentally, you kind of just reset yourself. That's kind of what it sounds like. It's just like a different way of grounding yourself in the moment.
I think that's exactly what it is. I just, you know, I didn't know. I just like, this
Yeah.
is how it works for me, so I do it this way. But yeah, that doesn't sound exactly like what it is.
I mean, that's like for people that are on fucking drugs and having a bad trip. Like, I mean, how am I just gonna get a fucking ice cube and put it on my forehead when I'm in an anxious?
These are people with these are people who have anxiety attacks, right? Who also have like people around. I'm not talking about like a drug-induced anxiety attack.
No,
like,
I'm saying dead ass. You're sober, but you're in the middle of a fucking like Wendy's, like he's saying, waiting on your 4 for $4, and all of a sudden it just kicks in. Like
sometimes those people like sometimes they'll rely on the people around them. Like if they have a friend with them or something that knows, they'll like, all right, something cold on the back of the head, right, or the forehead or whatever. Or sometimes they be conscious about it and they do it themselves.
It was a joke, man.
Oh,
my brother fucking pops in my room sometimes like a goblin. So he'll just like come and be like, just like looking at me. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what it is. It's like there's something in him that has to fuck with me. Like whenever I walk by him, he can't help but like harass me. And it's so weird. Like I get all like defensive or like reactionary. He never does anything, but it's like just this like he like does like a subtle flinch at me, and I'm always like, gosh damn it.
You got
I
me
wish I
again.
could
Fuck.
break it, but I can't.
That's that like brotherly big brother, like bully the little brother instinct that he still has. I feel like people without siblings don't know, but there's that like something in my head tells me I have to be annoying sometimes as the youngest brother. I don't know what it is, but just sometimes I have to be annoying. I'm like, I wish I wasn't like this, but I just am, you know.
I feel
So it's
that.
probably the same for him. He's like, I gotta fuck with him. I don't want to, but I gotta.
That is weird that we're all little brothers here. This is the little
Yup.
brother podcast.
Then you guys all agree. Sometimes you're just like, I gotta be annoying, and you're just like,
Yes.
why am I being this way?
You know what's interesting? I find that I'm that way to people because I always am solution oriented. So like people will tell me something that they just want to be heard on because they're like in an emotional state. And I'm like, "Oh yeah, you should do this this and this about that." And then they're like, you don't get it."
Yeah,
And I'm
people
like
don't want that. Keep going. Sorry.
what don't I get? It seems like you're frustrated for this and I see that you're flustered and so then you should do this about it. And like I don't know why that seems like is that dehumanizing in a sense? Because I feel like that's the most empathetic thing that you can do is try and be like, oh yeah, like, well, here's your fucking way out, you know?
I I feel like it's just different types of people, but most people who want to complain, they just want to complain. You know, they're just
Yeah.
like they. It feels weird because I'm with you, but that's what they want. They don't want you to have a rebuttal. They don't want you to have a solution for them unless they ask you, "Do you have a fix?" They just want to get it off their chest and have you listen. But then it sucks on our side because then it's like, uh, cool, you know, like what do you respond if you're not trying to help?
Absolutely
Yeah.
nothing. Or they want you to feed into it too for them, like be angry with them if they're mad at a coworker or something. And it's like, well, that's not really who I am. I'm trying to like I want to help solve this problem for you, but you're not. You don't want that. So it's like just sitting there and letting them vent is probably just the best. And just say, yeah, oh fuck, that sucks, or whatever response is okay, but not a solution. You could always ask. You could be like, "Hey, can I give you a solution?" If they say no, then fucking all right.
I don't know. I'm like, motherfucker, you subjected yourself to me now. Like,
Yeah, I listen. No, it's your turn.
that's the selfish way of looking at it. But to me, welcome to the pain zone. Like,
Yeah,
sit out.
3 minutes of me time.
Yeah.
But no, that's hard for me too. I'm the same as you. I want to be like, oh, I think this would be a good idea, but I have learned to just, wow, Carrie is a bitch. Yeah, no, that's sucks, you know.
Yeah, that's a hard skill to learn. I'm in that same boat. We're fucking 3 peas in a pod. So
Yeah, it amazes me. You know, the way that some people would rather seek like it's almost like have you ever played a video game like what's a good one to put this F-Zero GX, right? So
That's a
you're going way fast and you're trying to like avoid things, right? Like there's like walls and obstacles. And that's kind of like mentally, you got these obstacles, and rather than trying to avoid them, you just fucking drive straight into the wall. Like you just look at the wall and just fucking drive into it instead of just trying to find the path around it. You know? I don't know if that's a good enough analogy. Tried to get video gaming.
I would say it's like a racing game. You're trying not to crash into the walls, but you still got to make the turns or something. But F-Zero GX is a racing game. Just it's more niche, so people are like, "What the? What in the what?" Zach, did you know what F-Zero GX was?
not a clue.
Captain Falcon, bro.
Yeah,
What are
never.
you talking about? But leave
Yeah.
it to me to be the old man in video game years that's like super into only like niche classic like counterculture almost games that have like weird followings.
Yeah.
Those
Yeah,
are the
leave
good
it to
ones,
you.
though.
It it sucks though because like I'm still waiting for Tales of Symphonia 2 and it'll just never come out.
They make a lot of Tales of is a action RPG series for anyone that's curious, but they make new Tales of games. They just don't have the same characters. It's always like a new cast of characters, kind of the same as Final Fantasy.
Oh, okay. Word. Honestly, I
Gotcha.
can't play video games anymore.
I know you told me you got a Switch and then you sold it or something like that, right? Or you gave it to
Give
some
it to my
family
cousin.
member. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, my little cousin. Because and shout out to my cousin Apollo, the fucking Don himself. Apollo has cerebral palsy, but he's always been so fucking good at video games, dude. And he's always loved video games. And like, I swear to you, he's beaten every Angry Birds that has ever come out. Like, that's always been his shit. He's a wizard with Angry Birds. But basically, I was sitting here one day and I was like, he loves Angry Birds. I bet you he'd go bananas over this new Pokemon game because I was playing Pokemon and I was like, hell yeah, this is dope. And I was just thinking about how when I was a kid, how much fun I had running around leveling up my characters. And I was like, I could play that forever. And it was way not as cool as this. So I was like, I got to hook him up, you know? Um, and so I gave him that as a Christmas present, I believe. It was either like Christmas or his birthday or something. Um, but yeah, video games like they hurt my eyes now, and I'm a little too slow. I hate to admit it to keep up. I'm not committed enough to be able to get my speed up. They released a fucking Call of Duty update. I don't know which one it was that we were even playing, but I had so much fun getting back into Call of Duty. I thought I was so good, but it was aim assist, and it broke my heart.
If you play with the controller, you're always gonna have aim
Yeah.
assist. So like even back when we were young, you had aim assist. We just all just didn't fully understand the tech behind it. So I wouldn't put that as discouraging, you know. And honestly, most COD pros play on controller anyway for the aim assist.
Well, dude, then I just suck so bad that even with aim assist, as soon as they release this new update, and this is even more disheartening because I'm realizing this live on the podcast, dude, I was getting owned. I was getting fucking owned.
You're fucking dog shit, bro. What the fuck?
I was like, never again, bro. I'm done. I'm hanging up the jersey.
Hey,
There you
if it
go.
makes you feel any better, I can't play COD anymore either, dude. That used to be my shit, but I can't even see my entire monitor anymore. Like I can't keep up with everything, so
Yeah.
I'm with you there. Too
It's
old.
heavy in the game.
I can play Valorant, but
What
other
is
than
that?
it's
It's a new Counter Strike, but not Counter Strike.
yeah, it's essentially like Call of Duty Search and Destroy, but it's like first to 13 rounds wins. So you play. Go ahead.
So is it still made by Steam? Like using the Steam engine or
It's
whatever?
made by Riot, so you can play on Steam,
yeah.
or you can play on like Epic, but wherever you can kind of download it. Or no, actually no, you download it straight from their website. What am I talking about?
It's not made by Steam. It's made by a different company, but it's
Yeah.
it's the same gameplay as Counter Strike esque. It's like a class based shooter, but it's trying to be a tactical shooter. Hopefully that makes sense.
Like superpowers and shit.
Hold on, you got to
Kinda.
break that down for me. What? So class based versus tactical? What's the difference there?
So remember that game we played, Overwatch, how you could pick your hero?
Mm-hmm.
It's like that. You get to pick a hero, so it's not realistic like Counter Strike, but it has the same gunplay as Counter Strike and objective as Counter Strike. You know what I mean? But it's like instead of buying a smoke grenade like you would in Counter Strike, you pick the character that has smokes, and they just always have a smoke on them, while other characters won't have that.
Huh. Okay. Honestly, that was what I thought was so dope about Counter Strike, though. I'm happy to see that they took that like tactical style and just like ran with it. But dude, OG Counter Strike will like live forever. I hope.
Me and Kemper here, I used to go over to his house, and there was this little like internet cafe where people would be playing Guitar Hero on the front, and they just
Oh,
had this
shit.
whole line of computers, and we would go there and just play Counter-Strike. And anyone who plays Counter-Strike, Kemper has this fascination with like not the worst, but a lot of people's least favorite like level on Counter-Strike, which is called Office. People don't play Office because it's very unbalanced. But as kids, I didn't know that, and I was like, this is sick. But as I grew up, I'm like, he really liked the least like he likes what he just said, the most niche little community map that no one likes to play. Because everyone's like, I don't want to play that game mode. It's the only one where you have to save hostages. Usually people just want to play, the bomb game mode. But I always thought that was funny. So when I look back at it, I'm like, man, he always wanted to play Office. No one wants to play this shit.
Dude, I was
But I
dog
still like
shit at
Office.
Counter-Strike. So bad. So bad. It wasn't even funny.
Well, I wasn't really like good at it. I'm spacing the name of that place, but it was like a pretty legendary little spot off of like right off of Foster Road. And we would always go down there, and it was the weirdest little like culture in there. I felt like yet again the bro that snuck in. Because I don't know why, like I never wanted to be like of this place. And yet I would go there from time to time just to like, it's almost like the watering hole for nerds. But it was like, I don't know, people were kind of crazy and like fanatical about it. And at that time, it was really unique because I don't remember anywhere else that did that. Like I don't know if that was just like a Portland thing.
It's
Um,
it's more like an overseas thing, right? But now they're kind of over here. Like if you go to malls, they have very similar stuff where they just have a bunch of like gaming chairs and consoles, and people will leave their kid there because their kid just wants to play video games. But it was definitely not quite the same. It was more like organic and less like, whoa, look at all these neon lights, radical. You know what I mean?
it
It's
was
just like, oh,
kind of
here's a line of computers. Hop on one.
yeah, kind of dirty and smelly. And the only thing that was like a little cool is like they sold snacks, and people were there just. It always smelled like Red Bull and body odor in there, and just fucking you. But it was so weird because you would have all ages, right? You would have like a 42-year-old dude, a 37-year-old, a 22-year-old, us little ass kids in there,
Yeah, we
and
we were
all
literally like less than 10 years old, just playing Counter Strike in the
Damn.
back.
yeah, and they'd just be like talking shit, like full grown ass adults, like just grilling us, bro. And it always just blew my mind because you would have to like you had to pay money to like hang out there, and I used to be like, why is this a thing? Thus, another reason why we weren't there all that often. Um, but yeah, like every now and again, like nerd fights would break out and shit. Like it was a legit. It was like a
Fuck.
bar for nerds. And now, like years go by, and I look at it, and I'm like, dude, I went to the mall and I saw there's like, I'm like, dude, this is the clean version of it. They just cleaned it up and put it in a mall. It's incredible.
Those places are always empty.
Yeah,
I'm not
I don't
sure,
know.
but I walk by and there's like two kids in there always. This is like, I'm always like, how are they staying in business right now? But I don't know.
It's the new
knows?
money laundering.
That's what
Furniture
I was
stores
thinking.
don't work.
That's actually pretty freaking genius, Zach. No, man. It's kind of interesting seeing the things that like stuck around and really made like a heavy impact on culture from like when we were kids up until like where we are now, especially being a father now, like looking at things, I'm like, I wonder what is actually gonna like happen in the future, like what things will stay and what things will go, because after like COVID especially, I feel like it accelerated people's um I guess they're not ashamed to express that they don't give a fuck about other people anymore, bro. They would rather be at home watching Netflix, you know. I'm not down for doing shit at the office. Like the greater good is like going out the window for some fun time, and I'm not mad at it, but I also don't know how sustainable it is.
Hey, I work from home. My job, I literally can't go in the office unless I wanted to move to Vegas or something like that. You know what I mean? So it's working for me, but I get you. I get you for sure. It's yeah, that's the one thing I will say that from moving to Arizona, which I find so weird because I lived in Portland, Oregon, right? Everyone's actually so nice. I cannot tell you how many times I get food like from anywhere and they're just like, "What do you want?" Okay. And then they just give it to you. I'm like, "All right." And I'm just like, "Oh, thank you so much." I'm just like, no one, like, I understand it's fake positivity, kinda, but like, why is everyone just, there you go.
You
Have a
come in,
good one.
you're like,
You know?
you're like, I want a number two. They're like,
You want cheese on that?
They just pull a Colby and go,
Yeah.
yeah,
Fuck, bro.
here's your sandwich.
gotcha.
Get your shit and get out.
You know, I think that's one of the weird things. Like, and I'm noticing this because I've had to like cold call in my new gig doing real estate and stuff, right? And there's some people that are still like genuinely nice people, and there's a lot of them out there. But man, everyone's so like not used to getting good customer service. And I understand that I just interrupted your day if I cold called you, right? But you clearly are not doing something too busy if you're willing to pick up your phone in the middle of it, right? And just be like, "Hey, what's going on?" Like, you might be in the supermarket, you might be at your job, but you're not too busy to the point where you're ignoring your fucking phone. And I'm clearly a stranger. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
So, I don't know why you're so mad if you knew what you were getting yourself into, more or less. But like, I've called people and let them know, like, dude, I'm calling you to try and help you, like, get something that's actually going to step your life up. Like, if you get a house, you're another level of balling. And I don't care if you already have one house. Like, if you get two houses, now you're double balling, right? Like, and I'm like, I was talking to someone on the phone today and they were so apprehensive that I was like, maybe I'm the one real estate dude that's actually like nice enough to call and genuinely just be wanting to help you. So like, I'm just asking you if you're interested, not so you have to like buy or sell anything. You can't even do that right now, right? I just really want to know where you want to go in your life. Like, are you there yet? And if not, let's figure out how to get you there. And it's like, I don't know how you can be mad at that. Like,
It's like they've been burned so many times before. They're not so respect to them not being so trusting. You know what I mean? You can have good intentions, but not everyone calling them has good intentions. Half of them are scammers. So of course, if they get 15 calls a day of a scammer, they're going to assume you're a scammer. But yeah, that's a good point. Why are they answering their phone if they're getting scammed all day? You know what I mean?
like, what the fuck, bro? And I'm asking to like meet you in a public place if that's where they're at, right? Like, if that's where they're at in the process and they're really like, yeah, dude, I believe in that. It's like, okay, I'm meeting you in a public place. Like, there's so many checks and balances that like go into this before you ever even have a transaction. And what people don't realize, dude, a buyer agency agreement, if I'm helping you buy a house, can be terminated at any time for any reason with no penalties. It's just saying if you want to buy a house that you're going to seek me to help you. Like, that's all it is.
Yeah, I feel that. But I was just going to say, sorry, I'm playing devil's advocate. It's my worst trait. Um, I was going to say is that, but yeah, when you're cold calling, they don't know what the fuck they want. You know what I mean? They're like, what is this guy like trying to sell me? What is this? Think about that side. you're on your couch, maybe with your pet. You answer the phone. I'm gonna get you started on a house. What in the fuck? You know,
Yeah.
like,
And like that
Oh,
same thing,
believe
it's
me.
like taking them out of their like what happens to me is like I can be deep in thought about something, and then someone comes up to me and starts talking about some shit that I was not thinking about, and like I have this whole like reset period, like 10 to 15, maybe 20 seconds, where I have to reshape my fucking brain to be able to listen to this new topic and think about it. And so you're also like taking them out of their element, and they're like, maybe their element was already fucking tense. They're like, well, what the fuck? Who's calling me now? And it's like,
Dude,
so, you know,
these are valid points, but I am gonna say I understand it like from the other side of the phone. But now that I'm on this side, that clearly most people like they would rather fucking die than cold call anybody,
yeah,
let alone
me.
400 cold calls in a day. You know what I mean?
you
Like
have to do 400.
I don't have to,
Oh,
but you have to get like a certain amount of hours at our brokerage as like minimum standards. So if I'm on the phone for like, I don't know, well, right now, since I'm doing it like part time as I'm getting out of the gun shop, I've been doing like 5 hour time blocks. So, if in 5 hours, I might make, 400 calls. And that means out of that 400, I might have at least like 130 people answer. Right. So imagine how much fucking rejection you just gotta face. Right. And it's interesting in that being like the catalyst for me not giving a fuck about like creating content poorly in the beginning, like because I know the message is so strong that it's like even if the delivery's a little off, like the delivery will get better in time. I just have to remain like consistent with the message and like the actual activity of doing that. And the
mhm.
refinement will take place kind of naturally as it gets easier. Is that what you
Respect.
ran into? What was like I guess, the origins of you leveling up to where you are now? Um,
Uh, I don't know. I was always lucky. As you've known, I've always been very talented at video games. So I started streaming with the intention of just wanting to play better people. Because at the time, I had this fixation on Smash, Super Smash Brothers, and I realized all the good players go to people's streams and play them. So I was like, I'll just stream it and they'll come to me. I just wanted good matches, but thankfully, right when I pressed the go live button, like the first week I had like 50 something viewers and stuff like that. It's like, wow, this guy's pretty good. And it's like, I just wanted to play good people. But then I fell in love with it, streamed. I didn't have a job at the time. I think I was 19. I streamed 14 hours a day almost just because I was so in love with it. But to go back to the phone call thing, I worked at a call center for a long time, so I had to make some cold calls, but mostly just like calls to remind people about their medical appointments. And I call them and they'd be like, "Who the fuck is this?" And I'm like, "Oh, this is Timmy from THCF Medical Clinic." They're like, "Oh, is my appointment coming up?" And I'm like, "Yeah." It's like night and day. They're like super upset to, "Oh, this is actually relevant to my life. What's up, man?" And it's so weird.
yeah, I get that too, but not near as frequently. So he's talking about calling people and being like, "Hey, dude, your weed card's about to expire."
Yeah.
Like, "Oh shit, I need that to not be a psycho."
True,
Apparently.
true. But yeah, just so night and day. So when you're talking about that, I was just thinking, I was like, man, yeah, doing a complete cold call where you can't even get to the point where they know what you're talking about. They just answer upset. They're like, "You better say 3 goddamn good words, or I'm gonna, I'm gonna be upset."
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it's funny. You start to get harder nerves about it, to the point where it's like, because I think there's something natural. It's almost like getting punched in the face really quick when someone's like you call, you're like, "Hi, is this Timmy?" And he's like, "Ugh, what?" You're like,
What?
"Oh shit," or they'll just lie to you and be like, "No." Like, really? Because I have your address and your email, and you signed up for this website. You sure that's not you? And people get really creeped out if I'm like, hey, all right, so, and they'll be like, no, that's not me. And I'm like, all right, is this your email? And then they're like, who is this?
How do
Yeah.
you know this? Explain yourself, demon.
It's so weird. You go down some creepy rabbit holes sometimes.
You get those paranoid people, and it gets even worse. Because like, if they're already thinking someone's following them, then it'll get bad. They're like, "Who the
They're
fuck
gonna
are
start
you?"
finding you.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
haven't had that, but I
It'll
did have
reverse your
one
ass.
dude that I had a dude that called me back like I swear like 14 times. And he was like just relentless. Just kept calling me back, kept calling me back, kept calling me back. To the point where I like couldn't even deny it quick enough. I had to go and block his number.
Damn.
Was he upset? Or
But I did have one person who your mommed me, and that was pretty awesome. Like every now and again, you get somebody that just is so childish. I'm just like, well played.
Did you give them
Like,
props while you were on the phone at least?
I was like, well, no, they generally just hang up on you, but then you're just kind of stuck. Like, fuck, he got me, and there was no recourse.
Damn.
I like
Yeah,
that.
100%, dude. But I don't know. Take me a little bit through your kind of day to day and where you plan on going with this stuff, and if you even kind of have a plan or you're just riding with it.
You know, day job, love it. I love my job. It's best. I've worked in QA for almost 10 years now, quality assurance for games. My current job is definitely the best one. I don't have to say that. I'm just saying it because I love it. I worked TSA for 3 months, and why is he laughing? You see this guy? I said I worked TSA. He started cracking up like this guy. What a jerk! But what was I gonna say? I worked TSA for 3 months, and I did it a lot for like the dental health insurance. My current job has better health and dental and stuff than my old job did. How does a game studio, an indie game studio, have better health insurance than the government? Doesn't make any sense,
That's
but
fucking wild.
I'm very happy with it. But yeah, I don't know. I wake up, I do my QA job for Five Nights at Freddy's, and then I take a 2 hour break, aka my nap break recently, and then I stream up until I go to bed. So it's kind of like, yeah, it's kind of like that. Wake up, work, take a little breather break, stream, and then I because I have a girlfriend and stuff now, I try to make sure I don't do anything on Saturdays to have a relaxed day, even though sometimes I'm like, I kind of want to boot up the stream, but I'm like, nah, I should just chill out and not do it for a day.
Work-life
Well,
balance,
dude,
man. It's got to be there.
clearly, honestly, there's a healthy level of obsession, right? Like when you're obsessed with something that helps to like make you successful and feel fulfilled in life, like that's fantastic, dude. And what's not fulfilling about you're literally playing video games? Like that's kind of like the ultimate bro dream that you actually wake up, play video games, and do like you rig the system in a way. It's crazy. And yes, I was absolutely laughing. I'm like, Timmy is why any bombs got through during that fucking 3 month
I
period.
protected this country, goddamn it.
You know, you know how many terrorists were like, oh yeah, we can make it past this dude.
Oh
the
fuck.
the people there would call me the smiling guy. I would have I never recognized anybody. But like if I worked TSA pre-check, they'd be like, "Oh, you're the smiling guy. Hey, how you doing?" Like we're familiar. I'm like, "Oh, I'm doing good. Let me look
Yeah.
at your ID. That's you. Here you go." Checking people's IDs was the most fun part. All the other jobs on TSA, resident sleeper, that stuff's boring. But checking people, like looking at someone's ID and like matching up to their face, was very fun. That was my favorite part. But I quit TSA because everyone like the actual job wasn't bad, but like people were like competing, and I was just like, this is just a part-time job I want to acquire. I don't want to deal with all this drama, you know?
Politics inside of the
Yeah,
TSA
politics.
job.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm not trying to get ahead of you. I'm just better than you, you know? Like,
Yeah,
I
I'm
don't
gonna
know.
win. Sorry.
Yeah, exactly. You gotta tell him you gotta win. No, but yeah, so I was like, I don't want to deal with all this like weird whatever it was, so I quit.
Man, that's weird. So that no wonder people are so mean. You know, there's a lot of TSA agents that ain't fucking around, bro.
Yeah, they're not. I don't know. That's what I'm saying. Like people, TSA, people are always like, why are they so unhappy? I don't know. I was happy, and then everyone's like, all the other people are like, yo, fuck that guy. I don't like all this positivity coming from that direction. Get him out of here. I don't know.
What's with this weirdo?
Smiley guy. What the fuck?
Yeah, that's what they literally people would come by and be like, I love. They would compliment me, be like, I'm happy to see someone always smiling when I come through here. Or they'd say, yeah, this one lady always said, you're the smiling guy, and I was like, have we met? And then I guess I said I never recognized him. Over like the fifth time, I was like, oh, it's this lady who calls me the smiling guy. What's going on? Also, man, it must suck to have to travel that much on planes to see me
Yeah.
like the same person repeatedly, where you know everyone who's working TSA at that point, you know?
Well,
That's a lot of travel, dude.
honestly, it's
Yeah.
hilarious that you did not learn anybody's name. You just recognize them by by their phrase of addressing you.
Yeah,
Like,
that's true.
I don't know. Maybe I'm built like old fashioned fucking 1950s ass dude where I'm like, nice to meet you. Like, what's your name? Like, tell me about yourself. I'm like one of those guys where, like, if I see you on the regular, like, even if I don't fuck with you, like, I have to know you. Like, I have to have some kind of like, if I pass by you all the time, I want to know. The only people that I reserve like doing that for is A, if my instincts are weird about you, or B, something's obviously wrong with this like situation. So like for instance, where I live, there's a pretty sure it's a dude, but I'm not sure 100%. But
They.
yeah, it's a they for sure, and they hang out on the corner all the time. Like they got to be the hardest working, probably prostitute, from what I can address of this situation, you know, and ascertain by my observation skills. I don't give a fuck if it's like 4 in the morning, 7 a.m., 9 at night. This motherfucker is always leaned up against the building, dressed, you know, ladylike, but just looking hard, just mugging. And I'm like, I'm never learning that person's name ever. Like, not in a million years. Like, it would have to be some crazy ass circumstance for me to learn that person's name. But other than situations that kind of fit that creepy bill, I want to actually like know your name and shit.
I feel you, and I definitely know that about you. I always say, like, people don't understand. You walk in public with Kemper here, and he'll literally talk to anyone on the street, and you're just like, it's really endearing. It really is. But I'm just like, man, I could never. I could never just be like, oh, I like your like. I'll give people compliments, but I won't be like, I like your shoes. What do you want to be in 5 years? You know, I mean, you're like what?
Let me tell you about the real estate market. You see,
I don't know. Usually, the good thing about Kemper is that he will go on his rants about what you know. Like if you let him talk about his daughter right now, he'll do it. If you let him talk about chakra, he'll do it. But he will listen instead of try to talk. You know, he'll actually be like, "Hey, I like your shoes. I want to hear about your life," instead of "I like your shoes. Have you seen this picture of my cute daughter?" You know what I mean?
I definitely do that. And you got my topics down. I don't know. I had an adorable daughter. I have an adorable daughter, but like when she was born, I just instantly became that old dude from the movies with like pictures in his wallet of his family that shows him to like anyone he interacts with. Because like, dude, my daughter is the cutest baby ever, like ever. Are you
I
kidding
started
me?
this.
Yeah.
Yes, you did.
Now he's on his phone. He's about to pull out a picture.
Are you kidding me? That is awesome.
That jacket is dope.
Hell yeah. Dude. Yeah, see, this is what happens. I could look at that all day.
Put that thing away.
Yeah, we're working right now. God damn it.
Get off your phone. That's unprofessional. I would never.
Yeah.
You know, honestly, next time we do one of these with Timmy on, I would love to play some video games for the old time's sake. Just because I haven't in a long time. I feel like the way that you stream is so different from like a regular podcast format because there's always something going on to where there's. Do you ever feel like, oh shit, there's a lot of like dead air right now?
Oh, all the time.
Really?
Actually, yeah, all the there's sometimes you just don't know what you want to do, and that's you don't have a plan. You're floundering on stream. You're like, what do I want to play? Maybe I'll do this. That's just dead air central. I feel like when I stream and stuff, it's very organic. I just do whatever I want. But those are the situations where I'm like, this is shit content. You know what I mean? You're like, oh, this makes sense why people probably want to tune out. But I try not to care about the numbers and stuff too much. It's important, but I made it. I'm the Twitch partner logo. I don't have to care about how many concurrent viewers I have.
What does that mean?
They just have like a lot of websites like YouTube and streaming websites, TikTok, stuff, everything just has like a requirement to be on their like upper echelon thing. I don't know how to fully tell you. You pretty much just get a badge, and like if you go to TwitchCon, you can go to the VIP section. That's essentially like all it really means. But you have to hit like a set number. Like you have to hit, I think on Twitch it's 75 concurrent viewers over 30 days. So that should be your average over 30 days, and then they'll give you partnership.
That's
You
pretty
don't
rad.
get paid extra or nothing like that, but it's just like, so if you're not a partner and worrying about those numbers, I can see how that affects you. But I'm like, I already got it. It doesn't matter.
Dude, I'm telling you, it's shooting fish in a fucking barrel. If you got 75 people looking at you all the time,
Well,
constantly.
not right now. Not right now. It's only when I play fighting games too.
But
Because like
whatever.
I'll let
Dude,
you
you
keep
need to
going.
start selling them. Fucking sell them.
This is
Get
your
'em.
problem, Kemper. You're looking at them like numbers. This guy's like,
you
you got 75? About 10 of them will buy a shirt if my calculations. And then
Dude, your life would be better. So would they. They'd have some cool ass clothes to rock from you. They'd have a book. I don't care.
A book?
Yeah, you can write a book.
He's making you an author now. Fuck.
Yeah, you can sell pocket pussies. I don't know.
That's a good
Whatever you
idea.
want to do.
Shaped like my asshole. I like that. That's
There
a
you
good
go.
idea.
Damn straight.
Well, I wasn't
dude.
saying that, but right on. I was thinking put a sticker on the side of it or something.
Okay.
Hey, he wants to get really close with his followers, okay? God damn it. This is a new level of intimacy, okay?
That's right.
Anybody that
Get to know
actually
him.
did you on a video game was like, I fucked you. You'd be like, yeah, you probably did.
There you go.
Oh,
Yeah,
geez.
you probably did. I saw
Well,
Forge Stars were
you
doing it.
spent
I
the
thought I'd
money
get into
on
the market.
Yeah, that's a weird one. I don't know how we got here. I don't know that there's a better note to end on, though. That's it.
You have to make sure the person who's listening to this podcast at their office had to turn it off before it ends. Like, the fuck are they talking about?
The second he heard pocket pussy, that dude was turning that shit
He's
off.
like, oh, shit.
He's like, oh, fuck. Headphones.
I cannot be listening to that at work anymore. Oh, no.
Well, to anybody that wasn't aware of Mr. Qeuw on Twitch, you need to go watch that shit, see him stream. He's super entertaining, for real, and I say that from the bottom of my heart. I can't tell you how many hours I sat next to Timmy, either playing video games with him or just watching him play video games intensely.
I got a small story. One time, Kemper hits me up, and he knows I'm up at the weirdest hours. So he calls me at like midnight, which isn't too weird. He's like, "Are you awake right now?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm just streaming." He's like, "I'm gonna come over." He literally just comes over with a bag of candy, probably stoned out of his mind. I'm not entirely sure. He just sits on my bed, and then behind me, because I didn't have a green screen and stuff, he's just asleep in the back of my stream. And everyone who came in kept typing, "Who is that?"
That's
I was just
amazing.
playing like Mario Odyssey, the newest Mario 3D game, and everyone's like, "What is this dude doing back there?" And I was like, "That's just my best friend. He's just taking a little snoozer back there. Don't mind him." All right, that's the short story.
Anybody that knows me knows that I will call somebody at the craziest fucking hours just to kick it. Like, and that's kind of changed now that real estate and like fatherhood having to supply some money and I got to be more consistent than I was. But at the end of the day, as I get more money, I'm going back to that and I'm hitting people up for more extravagant, crazy ass shit to go down. Like, and there's nothing extravagant about this. I was probably just like 3 backwoods deep, just smoking blunts and just fucking was sitting outside a plaid pantry, like, dude, I haven't seen Timmy in forever. Oh,
I was
I
like,
bet
he's
he's
probably
up
up
there.
now. I'm gonna
Yeah,
go see what he's up to. He just fall asleep on my bed behind me, sitting up.
yeah. Well,
Damn.
dude, when when people die that you really fucking love, like you realize how short, time can be with the people that you have in your life. And like, yeah, it might just be a random ass night, but like here we are years later, you having a fucking awesome story out of the most mundane shit, right?
True, true.
So I
That
mean,
is that is a good point.
if you start looking at your life like that and just go, man, I want to make it the most quality experience and share that with as many people as possible, as much as possible, like I'm confident and I have faith that everything's going to get better for you. You're going to have more opportunities come your way. You're going to have more friends. You're going to have more stories and experiences. Like, it's really endless.
Fuck.
Mic drop next week, bitches.
Peace.
I like that. I like the momentum change there. Have a good one.